gente. Welcome to another episode of the Wine and Chisme podcast. And I have a special guest because normally we do the month and chisme with my friend Ellie, but this month we're doing it with my girl Erika. Welcome, Erika Sanchez of Braid Communications. How are you?
Thank you, Jessica. I'm good. I'm good. I'm really excited. It's funny because we have these conversations offline all the time. So
We
it's going to be
do.
interesting to record ourselves.
I know. And it's so funny. I have to sometimes remind Ellie, I'm like, girl, this is not like, I think the last one we were just talking about on entrepreneurship. And I was like, girl, you're not interviewing me. We're both entrepreneurs, but you're an entrepreneur as well. Let me kind of just
Yes.
brag on you and then I'll let you share a little bit about yourself. So, Erika Sanchez is the president and CEO of Braid Communications, who who also happens to represent me and the Wine and Chisme podcast. And last year, anything that you saw, if you saw anything, any social media features, any magazine features, like Erika and her team are the ones who did that for me. And let me just say, we met for the first time. Like Erika had pitched me, right? Erika had pitched me some authors. So some of the authors that have been on the Wine and Cheese My podcast are because of Erika and Break Communications as well. And then when I took my nephew to New York in 2022 for his graduation, I was like, hey, I'm gonna be in New York. She's like, girl, let's meet. Let's meet up. And it was supposed to be a lunch that went into cocktail hour, right? My poor nephew's just
It
sitting
was
there.
it was the longest lunch of my
But it
life,
was
and it's
awesome.
it's so funny because like I needed that lunch. Like I just needed to be a leisure afternoon. I was like, I need this like ladies of leisure kind of vibe.
Yes. And girl, we certainly did that. But then when I started looking for like because even though I have a communications background, even though I have a PR background, man, it's different when you're trying to do PR for yourself. It's so like it's just different, right? I could think of somebody might come to me and I'll be like, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? But then when it comes to myself, I'm like, oh, like I completely go blank. So I needed somebody else to help bring my visualizations to life and help me. And the good thing is first of all, we work so well together. You guys are so amazing. And I am so like honored that you guys believe in me so much. And that I think is such a key to a working relationship. We've since become friends, not just, you know, work like business partners, I guess you could say, but um we've become friends. And it is like I do feel so honored that you want to continue to work with me, even though like sometimes things get rough and everything, because you really believe in me and you believe in the podcast. So um I appreciate it so much. They helped so much. They came to LA for the LA event. Yana
Yep.
came to Dallas. You guys were such a big part of the New York event. And Erica's like, we're coming here, we're coming here. I stayed with her and she had all kinds of things planned for me, like for networking and everything. And I was like, all right, let's go, let's do it. Um, but is there any like share about yourself, Erica? Share about yourself.
It's so funny because I love compliments, but I do not know how to take a compliment, which is so bizarre. But I mean, I feel like that is what I love about communications, and that's kind of why I stay doing what I do. Just the connection and just being a part of an entrepreneur's journey and like helping get out your message, helping you connect with your audience, connect with media. Like it's just I can't explain like what kind of rush and joy that brings me. Like I like to help people. I like to hype people up, and I like to be in the background. I don't really like to be up in the mix, but I love pushing everyone forward. So I think that's why like I love communications. I love PR and why we work so well because you understand the industry, which is a huge plus when you have clients. Like sometimes you just, it's a crazy landscape and clients just don't know how to navigate what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, but you get it because you're in comms. And then just your story is great, your vibe is great, and the universe brought us together. And it was like you said, like we're friends. Like it's beyond business. Like business time is business time, and then aside from that, it's friend time, and I love
Yeah.
that.
And I love how we can say like, and when it does come to business time, we can very both also be very honest with each other too, and
Yep.
not be like, "Ah, would you say that?" Well, not like we get into like craziness, anyways, but like we're able to convey our messages to one another without like taking offense, but also we know how to
Mhm.
share that without
Right.
being all crazy.
Right. We're on the same page. We're on the same
Yeah.
page, which makes things so much better.
Absolutely. So if you guys need PR services, go to braidcommunications.com, follow Braid Communications, follow Erika Sanchez NYC, like do all of the things because, I want to push, your business as well because I just, she's Erika from a client standpoint, not just a friend standpoint, but a client standpoint. It's so important that you have people who really believe in what you do and who are really working for your success. And that's what Erika does, and that's what Braid Communications does. So, yay!
Yep. I mean, that's another reason too that I wanted to like branch out and start my own business. Like I wanted to work with clients that I really believed in. That like I 100% wanted to see them win and like just be invested into their success.
Yes. Well, salud, and I am giving you a salud with a 2019 Solorio Family Wine Chardonnay because it is
Mm.
1 o'clock here and I am not feeling a red yet. I just want something light and crisp, and I love this Solorio Family Wine Chardonnay because if you don't already know, if you haven't listened to the podcast, I am not about the really heavy, buttery Chardonnays. Those are usually come from oak, uh, what you call it, barrels.
Barrels.
Yeah. And sometimes if they're oak and steel barrels, then they come out crisper, lighter, and that's what I'm wanting. So, salud.
Oh my gosh. It's funny because I'm like, wait, where's my wine? Oh, how did I forget my wine?
Girl, I don't know how you forgot your wine. I was like, what?
I was like, wait, my wine. I have this stupid water. Like, what is wrong with me?
Let's turn that into wine. Well, look at, so if you are listening, you can't see this, but if you're on YouTube, you can see right behind Erika is the one of the posters that we had done from our New York event, from our live event. So it's showing Seis Soles, Gonzalez Wine, RGNY, Viva Cosmetics, Rizos Curls, Isla 84, House of Jefas, Agua Bonita. And there's one, Dr. What is it?
Dr. Bay soap.
Dr. Bay's soap. So those
Yeah.
were like our sponsors for our New York event. We will eventually get that New York event on to share with everybody
Yes.
because it was so good. Oh my gosh, it was so good, that event.
Yes,
Um,
it was. Oh my gosh. Like we're still like talking about it. And even like up to a couple of months ago, people that attended the event were still talking to me about it.
I
Like, it was
just
incredible.
Yeah, I actually just interviewed, and it'll come out in a couple of weeks. Somebody who actually we met from the New York event, and now she's a guest. And so
Mhm.
super exciting. I mean, it's just so amazing, all of the things like how they get connected and everything. But girl, are you ready for some like chisme? Are you ready to spill like
I
what's been
sure
going on the last month?
am. There's so
So,
much that's been going on.
right. Well, the first thing I want to talk about is, obviously with the Oscars, award season has come to an end. And
Yep.
with that, there was a lot of, look, girl, I posted this I don't know if it was just a story or if I posted it on my regular social media as well. In regards, I think it was a story in regards to America Ferrera getting an Oscar nomination, and that made me so unbelievably emotional. Now, there were other people that were nominated for Oscar, but for like,
Yep,
she is
yep.
my dream guest for the podcast, by the way. She is my dream guest. I have followed her since Real Women Have Curves.
Mm.
I love the work that she's done. I love how outspoken she is. And obviously, if you've seen the Barbie movie, her monologue was such a linchpin of that movie. And
Yes, it
I,
was.
I was so happy that I like literally cried when she got nominated when I saw, but I was so mad that she wasn't nominated in like literally throughout award season. She wasn't nominated for anything else. And I was so freaking frustrated. Um,
I
but
know I have this, I guess, bone to pick just with awards season in general. Like I've been so turned off by like just the whole thing, like not only with film but in music. Like I don't know what it is. Like not even the red carpet. I'm just like so not interested and just so like tired of like talking about diversity. Like I was looking online and the was it the Oscars So White was 9 years ago, and I was like, nine? Like
my gosh, it was already that far. That was already that
I
long
was
ago.
like nearly a decade, and we have like inched forward. Like it made me so not even angry. It made me like just so like I felt defeated reading that. I was just like,
Oh
but
my.
I mean, that's part of it where you just kind of gotta keep on fighting whatever way you can, trying to like support, amplify, but it's a struggle. It's hard to stay engaged.
Yeah, totally. I mean, um, it's it is frustrating because, right, it just feels like we're never seen, but we've had this conversation as well in regards to like we as a community don't tend to support our community as a whole.
Right.
We're always like, well, that doesn't represent me or what and the challenges. And I think we've said this on the podcast generally. And obviously we had a whole live of like in the whole LA event, the whole live event in LA. We were talking about that, but it's like if you don't support what is now, it becomes that much harder to widen the range of what studios are going to support. So it becomes like, for example, we talked about In the Heights, right? You're in
Yep,
New York,
yep.
or you grew up in
I
New
grew up in
York,
Washington Heights.
you
Yep.
grow up in the area. And so right? You know what that area is like. You've
Hmm.
seen it. You grew up there. And I didn't. So, but even if it wasn't an accurate representation, right? If
Right.
you don't even if you don't represent that, studios see that and they're like, well, Latinos don't even support
Hmm.
their own movie. So why are we going to do another one? Why are we going to even
Exactly.
increase diversity? So we as a community need to understand that so we can continue to push forward and we can continue the representation because yes, Afro Latinos don't get enough representation, right? Queer
Right.
Latinos don't get enough representation. Like light skinned Latinos tend to get the representation, right? But if we're not even supporting that and allowing those people to step through the door so so they can hold the door open for everybody else, then it just becomes harder and harder and harder.
Yeah, I agree. And like that's what keeps me like torn. Like I'm like, well, I can't like throw in the towel, especially like how that crosses over with work. Like I have to be like I'm like in my head now because I keep on saying like but I have to be like aware of of all these things and involved and engaged, but it just makes it so hard for me, but I know I have to.
Yeah. I mean, the other part is, if you are lighter skin Latino, you have to be aware of that and you have to make sure. Like there's been times where I have said things and they're like, well, do you want to come on this panel and talk about it? And I'm like, no, let me tell you who should be on your panel. Let me refer you to somebody else. It's up to us to know the opportunities that are meant for us and know the opportunities where we have to pass on to
Mhm.
somebody else who can better, verbalize and better represent what needs to be said than somebody who looks like even like me. I mean, you
Right.
know, I'm very aware of that.
Like I feel that also we come from a place of um oh, how do you say this? Where like, we come from this place where we are like fighting for scraps. So it's like we feel that the opportunities, I have to take all the opportunities. I can't share the opportunities. Like what's mine is mine. I need to, you could be doing well, but not better than me. Like these are all like things that are kind of ingrained in our brain growing up, like being immigrants. It's just everyone's trying to get theirs, and you forget that there's enough for everybody. You forget that we need to bring each other up. If I'm up, what harm is it to bring somebody up with me?
Yeah.
Why is that harmful? There's enough for
Yeah.
everybody. But it's this scarcity mentality.
Yeah. No, it's so true because I've even said, like, even in the beginning of my career, it wasn't other Latinos or other Latinas who were lifting me up. It was Black women who were lifting me up. And then not until probably in like the mid, probably like 2005, right? It is when I started seeing other Latinas trying to lift each other up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, damn, why it shouldn't have taken that long, right? It shouldn't. I was almost 30 years old, or I guess not. I was, yeah, well, I don't know how. Yeah, I was almost 30 years old by the
Right.
time I started seeing that, by the time I started seeing other Latinas uplift each other. And you're so right. It's because it was like, well, I got here and instead of saying, it's time for me to help lift up, right? A rising tide lifts all boats. Instead of that
Mm-hmm.
mentality, it was like swashbuckling, like, get those
Yep.
pirates out here.
Yes. Yes. It's the whole quítate tú para ponerme yo, right? It's like,
Yes.
come on, there's enough room for everyone. But I feel like even with my parents or just parents of like my generation in general, where they tell you you have to be the best. You can't let people like get over you. You have to like crawl, you have to, however you get to the top, you get to the top.
Yeah.
And yes, but also no.
Yeah, I know. It's so crazy, but I'm so happy like we're both in positions, right, to help amplify and uplift people from our community and other communities of color. That's really why I even started the podcast, right? And I'm so
Mhm.
fortunate that people really see that I truly believe in why I created this podcast, right? Because I think people sniff out inauthentic people very quickly, which actually kind of goes into the next thing we want to talk about, right? Uh, because I have mixed feelings on this, right? But
So do
they
I.
sniff that out. Yeah, they sniff that out really really quickly. And but if you're really fighting for your community and you're really like putting yourself in a position, knowing like me, knowing the privilege that I have, but knowing that I have this platform that can help amplify others, and knowing that I really believe in that, and that people understanding that I really believe in that, that makes, I think, such a huge difference. And I think that's why people want to share their stories. And that's why people get emotional because we, so many of us, like me and you, were in our 40s. We didn't
Right.
have that growing up. And I, and
Right.
I, and there's so many of these younger generations that don't understand that don't understand how
Hmm.
much we had to fight, even being light complected, how much we had to fight
Right.
being in in any community, right? Because
Right.
it wasn't just so easy. And when you're a kid, kids can be cruel, kids can be mean, and
Kids
you
are
just
awful.
want to fit in. You just want to
They're
fit.
awful.
Oh my gosh, right? You just want to fit in. You don't want to go, oh, well, you know what? I believe in myself. Like, and that's not what a lot of our parents taught us, right? They're just like,
Mhm.
do what you got to do. Like you said earlier, just do what you got to do. And let's
Or
go in.
fly right under the radar.
Yeah. So that's kind of what happened. But that kind of, like I said, pivots us into the next thing I want to talk about.
Yes.
Okay. Erica, we have actually had this conversation before as well.
Yes.
So we're talking about Jennifer Lopez, aka JLo. And look, she is being roasted on TikTok inside and out,
Yes.
up
Oh my
and
gosh.
down. And I have very conflicting feelings. Let me tell you why I have conflicting feelings, and I want to hear why you have conflicting feelings.
Okay.
Okay, so growing up, we didn't have really any representation, right? I found out Linda Carter, aka Wonder Woman, was half Mexican. I was like
Yep.
so
Yep.
excited, right? But we didn't have, I mean, even Jennifer Lopez, I was already in what, my late teens, early 20s when she really started coming out. Like when Selena came out, I
Hmm.
think I was, what year was that? Oh, I had already graduated high school. So yeah, I was in my late teens, early 20s when Selena came out, right? And she was in
Hmm.
Mi Familia. Um, and I was just so excited to see. And when Selena came out, there was a lot of like conversation of she's Puerto Rican, she's not Mexican. Why? Look, first of all, I understand that. At first, I was really frustrated when I heard that. But then I heard
So
like,
was
well,
that.
her family is the one who chose her. And then when I saw the performance, I was like, okay, I get it. Like she really encompassed that role.
Yes.
That role inspired her to go into music. And I was like, again, I was so excited because you not only see this Latina who is working hard and getting recognition. She was
Hmm.
nominated for a Golden Globe, right? But you see somebody who wasn't super stick figure. You saw somebody who had a booty, who had hips, who um kind of came in this thing, and this was before the Kardashians, people. This is, I mean, I think our audience knows
Yeah.
this, right? But she really kind of broke the mold in regards to what, we should look like, or what people can look like or do. So super excited. I had her albums. I was so super like, yes, yes, yes. I've never seen her in person. I did want to go to her Las Vegas residency. I heard it was so awesome. Like she's a true entertainer, right? She may not be the best actress. She may not be the best singer, but she is a true entertainer. And she herself has said, I may not be the best at this, I may not be the best in that, but I will outwork anybody else. And I admire that. So I still do admire that.
Yep.
Now, fast forward to now. When her and Ben Affleck first got back together, everybody was so happy. Everybody was celebrating. Yes, love. Oh my gosh, we're so happy. And then something happened. And she comes out with this new This Is Me Now, the greatest love story never told. I have not watched them yet. I think I've
Neither
kind
have
of I think I've kind of let TikTok pollute me from watching it, and I should just watch it. I should just make up my own mind about it, right? First it started with the whole Ashanti thing, right?
I. Right.
So let's get people caught up if they don't know. Here's the thing, when Jennifer Lopez started coming out with music, Tommy Mottola, and I'm going to try to say this in the most like uh not skewed way as possible. Okay. Tommy Mottola had just and Mariah Carey had just divorced Tommy Mottola. He was bitter. He was not happy. So he's like, who can I bring up to compete against Mariah? So he was like, I'm gonna bring Jennifer Lopez, which vocally you can't, there's no comparison. There's
Right.
no comparison. Entertainment wise, I would argue that Jennifer Lopez is actually a better overall entertainer than Mariah Carey, because Mariah Carey doesn't really
Mhm.
dance. She kind of relies on everything, but her vocals
Her
unmatched,
vocal.
unmatched, right? Um, but what people I think sometimes don't realize, and this is like when all this came out, and when she came out with J Lo, her second album and everything, and at some point this all came out, and that Ashanti did backup vocals. She did backup vocals for a song. Let me just say, she got paid. She has
She
said
did.
herself that
Ashanti, yeah,
she
Ashanti
has
has said that
said
she got paid.
herself, yeah, that she got paid. There was nothing stolen, right? There was nothing stolen. She has said that herself. But at some point, people got this impression that Jennifer Lopez stole Ashanti's vocals, stole Christina Milian's, like stole all
Mhm,
these other
mhm.
artists' vocals. Now, I don't know if people are aware, but the producer is the one who actually mixes it. So especially
Right.
when Jennifer Lopez is first coming out, she might think, "Oh yeah, this, that, that," and if she's not being told that her voice is being mixed with a background vocal, and maybe they've upped the background vocal, she probably thinks that's what she sounds like. Like I would imagine that's what you think. Oh damn, I sound good, yeah. You know, not to say that she's a terrible singer, but she's not the best singer. We can be
No,
real
no.
about that and honest about that. So this has happened a few times. And so people are now putting all of that on her. There's this whole TikTok thing of she stole Ashanti. Oh, Ashanti, Ashanti, Ashanti. But you're like, but Ashanti said she got paid. She didn't steal anything. Like nothing was stolen from Ashanti, right? Nothing was stolen from Christina Milian, which is she did the black background vocals and wrote play for
Yes.
Jennifer Lopez. They both said how excited they were to have Jennifer Lopez sing. I think Ashanti's like, well, I wanted to sing this myself, so I was mad at the producer. She wasn't mad at Jennifer Lopez. She was mad at the producer in regards to giving that to Jennifer Lopez. So there became all this thing. So that's where it started. People caught like and everybody getting it wrong, which that's what really frustrated me. Did you notice that? Like everybody kept getting it
Yeah.
wrong, and I'm like, you guys, come on. Like Ashanti got paid. She was not hurting for money at from that
Right.
song. Now fast forward, like I said, everybody was all excited about Jen and Ben getting back together. Then you start seeing the pitting against each other of Jennifer Lopez versus Jennifer Garden. And I'm like, hi,
Oh
why do
my
we got to
God.
do this? Yes, why do we have to do this again? Like Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck are no longer together. It's okay. Like it seems as if they're trying to we don't know what's truly going on there. We don't know what's truly happening there. Then they start coming out of and again, we don't know what's actually true or not because I feel like as soon as one person says it, everybody builds on and oh well, I
Yep.
had a sister's cousin's mother's uncle who served them at the hotel and they said Jennifer Lopez took away the tip that Ben Affleck. I don't know what's true.
Right. And I've heard that quite a few times. And I'm just like, I hope that's not true because that is just awful.
But I also think, well, is he tipping in cash or because if he's tipping on a card, he's just writing it down, right?
Right. Like, I
So
don't know. It just doesn't make, I don't know. I've heard that she's not a very nice person and like that whole you can't look her in the eye thing and all that stuff. So like she is a diva. Like we know this. She's a diva.
yeah,
But I don't think she's like this heinous monster.
yeah.
Like
Which is what
I
people are
don't
like
know.
really trying to make her out to be, right? Like she's like evil. And I'm like, you guys, there is so much more going on in this world besides gender. And then I saw actually this was yesterday. I saw something on TikTok where this server was like, it wasn't her. I didn't have a bad experience with her. It was her people. And it was her
Mm.
people that were rude. But that comes from the top down. We know this,
And
right? It comes from
that
the top down.
happens often. Sometimes the celebrities are really nice and their team is the one that's kind of like shooing people away, rushing them out. Like it's not always the celebrity.
Yeah.
And people, I don't know if they forget, if they ignore, or if they just don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about because you were like, she's always about like, I'm the girl from the Bronx, her
Uh,
first album named On the Six, because she said that's the, subway line she took all the time to go to her auditions and
mhm.
everything like that. But we were talking when I was in New York, and you were like, that girl is from Castle Hill, and that is not a like poor neighborhood. So please like you know
So
more about like that part than I do.
yeah, I mean, and Castle Hill is a little rough, but she was not like living in the projects. Like, like she was not in the projects. She was not like in the South Bronx. Like she was, come on now. She was regular New York City Bronx. So I mean, but when she did come out with On the Six, it was like very exciting because it was like, yeah, the six train. Oh, everybody knows that route from the Bronx to Manhattan, and oh my gosh, it's like transformation. Like it was very exciting. Um, but I don't know, somewhere along the line, she like that celebrity got to her head, and I feel like she became very inauthentic with being a New Yorker and like representing herself that way. She's out of touch with the Bronx that she left behind, but every now and then she wants to remind people that she's from the Bronx, remind people that she's a New Yorker. It's like, bro, you left New York a long time ago. You left the hood a long time ago. You don't really do anything for that community. And I feel like that's where a lot of people get frustrated with her, where
Yeah.
she's always like, I'm from the Bronx, I'm from the Bronx, mi gente latina. And it's like, okay, wonderful. We love it. We love it that you're hyping it up. But what are you actually doing for your gente latina in the Bronx?
Yeah.
And I don't see examples of what she really does. And that's the problem that I have with her. I'm a J-Lo fan. I love J-Lo because I've been following her since she was a fly girl on In Living Color. Like that was, she was the only Latina on there. So
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, woo, here we go, New Yorkers, Latinos, all right. And she was in a lot of good movies. She was in Money Train. I love that movie.
Oh God,
And
that one with George Clooney, that Steven Soderbergh.
oh yeah,
Oh, that is one of my
No
favorite.
Way Out, no.
No, no,
No Turn,
no. No, U-Turn was a good movie
U
too.
Turn.
No, 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 that wasn't it though. It was, oh crap.
Mm.
I'm gonna remember it. I'm gonna remember because I actually did think Out of Sight. Out of Sight. That's what it
Yes,
was.
yes, yes.
Such a good movie. Such a
I
good
mean,
movie.
there've been some good movies. She was in The Cell, which was a very weird, freaky movie, but it was a good movie.
Yeah, and then she became kind of the queen of rom-coms for a while, right? With
Right, which we love.
Manhattan,
Like, come on.
Wedding Planner, and yeah, I mean, they were, it was good. It was great. She was the first woman, I think, ever, or maybe even the first person, but definitely the first woman to have the number one movie and the number one album out at the same time
Right,
with
right.
The Wedding Planner and J Lo.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just disappointing to see as she rose, like she forgot about where she came from. But
yeah,
then when she needs to like, I don't know, I guess when she feels the need to like be authentic or like remind people that she's a little hood and be relevant, like now you want to come and talk about it. Like you should have been about it all this time
yeah,
while you're making all these millions of dollars.
yeah. No, I completely agree, and I think that's what where I get conflicted too, because I'm like, come on, like, look, obviously, I'm not from New York. I'm from San Diego. I'm from a suburb of San Diego. I did not grow up in the hood, but there's just apparently a little hood that lives in me. That just
Yes,
because
there is.
wait, let me just say it's so funny because every time I go to New York and Erica's like, no, you could be from here. Because every time I go to New York, people think I'm from New York. And she's like, nah, girl, you have that energy.
Yep. I don't understand what it is that you give me Puerto Rican New Yorker vibes. I do not know why, and I'm not the only person that has said that. Because Yana has said it too.
Yes. And Jan is like straight from the DR too.
Yep, yep.
No, it's so I mean, look, I'm gonna take that. I take that as a compliment. I take that as a compliment totally. Because when I'm in New York, I get people asking me questions like, "Oh, do you know where this is?" And I'm starting to get to know it a little bit better. Where I'm like, "Oh yeah, da, 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 da." Pretty soon I'm gonna be like, you know,
Yep. Pretty soon you're gonna be on the six.
yeah, pretty soon. And yeah, it's just funny. But I agree with that. I agree with that whole thing. Like I wish she would just give more. And now with this whole album, she was supposed to go on tour. And I did want to see her. I don't know if she's still gonna be in Anaheim or not. I
Mhm.
probably would still go, depending. First of all, ticket prices were apparently super crazy. Same with like Bad Bunny, right? Super crazy ticket prices.
Ugh.
Then she also canceled a bunch of shows because I guess people are just not buying it. And I think,
Mhm.
her, Justin Timberlake, like he's having these issues, like authentic issues as well. But I think they got famous in a very different era, right? They got
Right.
famous prior to social media. They got where you could really control the narrative. Like your publicist could
Mhm.
really control the narrative of who you are and what you're doing versus now social
Yep.
media. It's completely kind of changed the game for celebrities. So you can either embrace it, right? Like Cardi B, that's her. Like
Yep.
she has not tried to polish herself with her accent. She has not, like, what you see is what you get with Cardi B, right? And you know
Mhm.
that. But
Mhm. Mhm.
Jennifer Lopez does not have that same, like, she has not learned to evolve with the way that people consume media.
Right.
And
Right.
it just feels like everything that she does is about selling something instead of letting people get to know her. And I know that these docudrama or docu whatever is supposed to kind of be that, but I was watching something and somebody was like, "Look, I worked on this," and where that one where she's like, "Oh, my hair's wild and crazy," and
Right.
like that little girl running around in the Bronx. Somebody was like, "We did 12 takes of that."
But it's funny that that one video, and everyone's like, okay, but girl, in high school you had a short cut. Everyone has seen your high school picture.
Look, I'm just gonna say, look, I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt on that because senior photos are taken the summer before. They're not taken like with the regular photos. They're taken the summer
Right.
before your senior year. So who knows what her hair looked like? And who knows how wild and crazy it was by mid-year or the end of the year. I'm gonna be like, I don't know. As somebody who does have wild and crazy hair and went through a lot with my wild and crazy hair growing up,
Mhm.
I'm gonna give her
Mhm.
the benefit of the doubt on that one. But it is true. And I just think, I think that there is definitely space to critique and criticize. I hope and I really hope that she has somebody on her team that is like, look, I love you and I love what you stand for, but this is what's really going on. This is what people are really saying. And we really need you to be you and not try and be anybody else. Like, you're not Jenny from the block anymore. You're Jenny from the Los Feliz suburbs or Brentwood or whatever, wherever she lives now.
Mhm.
That's who you are. And that's okay, right? It's okay that that's who you are, but then just be like, you know what, guys, this is how I grew up, and yes, I worked really hard. Yes, this and like you said, give back to the community that gave you so much. Give back
Yeah.
to the school. Give like I think there was last year or the year before she was partnering up with some bank to give Latina businesses. I don't really know what ended up happening.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So you
So
see, you forget things like that because
of all the
all of
negative.
these conversations, yeah. So I totally forgot about that, but I don't recall that I saw like whatever outcome or I
Yeah,
don't think
same thing.
I
Because
don't
I
know
was
about the
honestly
follow up.
I was looking for something like did something, but I just kept seeing like, oh, she's partnered up with whatever bank it was, and here's the application deadline and whatever. So I maybe
Hmm.
need to do a little bit more of a deep dive to see like what company, if it shows like what companies got funds or what happened with that because
Right.
and I don't think they were actual like they weren't grants. I think they were loans, but they were loans specifically for the Latina entrepreneur.
Right.
So now the Met Gala is going to be coming up and she's co-hosting that. She's one of the co-hosts along with Bad Bunny for that. Like we said, she's
Really?
yeah, girl, you know.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm always looking for the Met Gala. So I'm like really behind this year.
Girl, I
This
got
time
you.
is
That's
going
why
by
we
so
do
fast.
this. I got you. Right? So yeah, it was really interesting. And then so we'll see like what she looks like, what she goes to, how she,
Mhm.
but I hope to see some sort of pivot from her. Like, um, I don't
I
know
don't know.
if that will happen.
I find it kind of hard because I feel like her team is a yes man kind of situation.
That's always the hardest too, because when you're like, um, when you're in that type of situation where your people aren't necessarily telling you the truth. And I think sometimes, I mean, look, I would want somebody, I have you on my team, right? And I know if I say, oh, I want to do this, and I would hope once I blow up, once the one in Chisme is a household name, if I'm like, oh, let's do this, you'll be like, I don't think that's a good idea. Cause I feel like you will tell me that. Now
Yep.
I know you would still tell me that. I'd be like, I feel like you'd be like, Jessica.
It would definitely be like, well, whenever I start a sentence with well, I'm searching for the right words to say and
To
how it's
say,
gonna land the smoothest and still encouraging.
yes.
Well, maybe we should do this instead of that.
I feel like
But
the
I feel like she
only
doesn't
person
have that.
that's in her, yeah, the only person that she has in her life that is that is Ben Affleck. Because apparently even
Maybe.
the thing, and I feel, and I don't know what happened between her and Leah Remini, but I'm so sad to not see them together all the time. I don't
Right.
know. I guess they went to her birthday party. There was a picture or something, but like you used to see, like they were thick as thieves, right? And you
Yeah,
don't
they
see
were. They were like
that.
BFFs.
Yes, and you don't see that anymore. And just makes me sad. So Jennifer
Mhm.
Lopez, girl, I'm not gonna say J Lo because right now you gotta be Jenny. You just gotta be Jenny. We don't want to see J Lo right now. We want to see Jenny. We want to see like the real person. So I'm sure if this ever makes its way to you, you have two people here that really are fans, that we really like appreciate how much work that you
Mhm.
have done and how much that you have helped shine a spotlight into the Latina community, even if you haven't necessarily poured into the community as much as we would like to see, but just being a Latina who is working
Right.
her ass off, right? We appreciate that, but we want to see Jenny. We're kind of I don't want to see J Lo anymore. Like we
Mhm.
seen the rocks that you got. Like let's see the personality, the true personality.
I agree. I agree. I really hope her team takes a step back and sees the opportunity that although all these negative comments and all of the craziness like that's coming out on the internet, there's a real opportunity for them to turn this around and be like, you know what, we're taking a step back
Yes.
and reevaluating things. And it could be her saying that she does want a more authentic life and that she
You know what
wants
I
to
just
share that
thought?
and take steps to do it.
Girl, you know what I just thought of? Now here's the PR person in me coming out, right? Could you imagine if she's like, you know what, I'm gonna take a step back because she has her New Yorican production company, right? What
Right.
if she take a step back and she's like, I am here to uplift the next generation of Latinas, and this is how we can do that. Whether it's entrepreneurs, whether it's singers, performers, actors, dancers, whatever, and like, cause she was on American Idol, and I think that's what made people like
Right.
fall in love with her again because they saw this like bubbly, encouraging woman who, but imagine like you do have this platform, but imagine using that to uplift the next generation, right? and saying
Mm-hmm.
like something for, um, okay, guess what, guys? I want to produce the next film that is featuring a Latino cast and this and that. So send me
Right.
your project, send me that, like, and be honest about it. Like, I may not read every one of them. I want you to do
Mm-hmm.
the best to pitch. And even if you do, and then just say, if you, even if you're not selected, know that you don't give up. This is just
Right.
one project. There is so many avenues. There is so, like, can you imagine how applauded she would be if she really was just like, you know what? It's time for me. She would still be in the spotlight, right?
Yep.
But she, like, can you imagine how applauded she would be for like shifting that to really amplify other people to come
Yes.
up?
That
Okay,
would
come
be
on.
incredible. Like, that would be incredible. I would love that for her. It's like everyone loves a redemption story.
Everybody
Everyone
loves it.
loves to see like the evolution and just people growing up. And that would just be incredible for her to
Yes.
expand that way. Like, just share with your community. Like, I don't, she's in a place where she is set for life. She's
Yes.
100% set for life.
I mean, the
Her
fact that
kids
you
are
can do
set.
this, you can do this project for 20 million using $20 million of your own money. Nah, girl, you good.
Yep, she's good. The twins are good. Like, don't worry. Dimming your light a little is not, it's not gonna be a catastrophe.
Yeah,
You're not gonna starve overnight. People are
exactly.
not gonna forget you. They're gonna uplift you.
Exactly. I think we need to be her new PR team.
I think so too.
And be like, girl, it's okay. Like, let's bring the light, like, let's bring it back. Let's bring you back to where you should be, right? Why are
Yep.
you not, let's do a free concert at in the Bronx. Do something for your neighborhood. Like, who, who is, donate to the food pantries, donate to this, don't, like,
Mhm,
whatever that
mhm.
is. Okay. Well, I'm going to shift a little bit because we're talking about authenticity still. I feel like that's kind of the theme of this one. And I
Yeah.
sent you the link to this dude. Did you watch that freaking TikTok?
Oh my gosh, I had seen that before and I had forgotten. I like took that right out of my brain. And then when you sent me the link, I was just like, oh God, yes, this dude. What is
Okay.
wrong with people?
Okay, I'm going to play it so people can hear this. Ah, that's not it. Okay, here.
To accept her rejection. Before you get upset, you need to hear a very real story from this guy.
Popular girl. And she said, oh, I'm not really interested. And I, instead of just going, okay, and just turning around, hey, why would you not be interested? And she's like, oh, I'm like, well, you'd have to come over my house to find out. And you'd also be okay with tours, and you'd also be okay with the road. Actually, maybe you wouldn't do the best for me. You want to know what I did with her later?
Okay, this is the most, first of all, that is the most disgusting thing. The guy is literally like, you don't have to accept her rejection. Okay. Yes, you do. Let's just start with, yes, you do.
It was 100% triggering to me because, well, first of all, that whole unfortunate uh murder that happened in New York City, where that man didn't want to accept a no thank you and he stabbed those young women to death. Like, well, one of them I think passed and the other one I think survived. I'm not sure, but like, just a no means no. Like, I don't understand. Go to the next one. Like, I really don't get it. And it's also super triggering. I remember being in my 20s and clubbing, and there would be, oh my gosh, just like relentless. And it's like, no, no, nobody's interested. Go away. Like, don't kill our vibe. Like, and then you don't feel safe. You don't feel safe. You're not having a good time. It's like, and it's such a problem.
It is. It is such like it. I saw something else that I saw a snippet, and this kind of goes into this whole thing, right? It's a bigger conversation. First of all, yes, you do have to accept a girl's rejection. First, and here's the thing. A guy doesn't necessarily have to be the best looking guy to radiate confidence that women are attracted to, right? He
Right.
doesn't have to be like, I know some guys that you're like, man, they're okay looking. You get to know them and you're like, hello. Like they just radiate this confidence and they just radiate this something, right? This man does not radiate this. This
No.
man does not and I'm a teeth person and this man has the like I just keep looking at his teeth and going brush them or something. Like they just look like they have a ton of buildup on them. I don't know. It's just like that's but then I'm sorry, but if I told a guy no and I'm the best, if some guy told me I'm the best, I'd be like, okay,
Oh,
that's great for you. Like, I wouldn't be like, well, what do you mean you're the best? Like,
God, I run away.
yeah. And he's like, I'm the best, blah, blah, blah. Now, my fiance, that's different now, right? I'm the best. I'm like, sure, sure. Yeah, you are. You're the best one. But, um, but it's one of those things where he does not exude that. He does not exude like you can tell. There's some people where I have just even through social media, I'm like, damn, like this guy's
Right,
a
the
panty
swagger.
dropper. Yeah, like you could tell he probably just but those guys don't have to say it either. They don't
No.
have to say it.
And there's a very fine line between confidence and cocky.
Yes.
I cannot stand like one toe over that line to cocky. You could be the best looking guy ever. And it's just like, bájale, bájale. No.
Oh, girl,
Please.
like I dated this one guy when I was in Dallas and my friend used to call him the Viking because he's originally from Minnesota. He was like this white guy, very good looking. And my friend
Mhm.
nicknamed him the Viking because from
Oh
Minnesota.
my God.
And but he would like there would become to this point where he was just so obnoxious that it was such a
Ugh,
turn. Like I was like, I don't care how hot you are,
it's a
like
turn off.
it is such a turn off. And this guy, like, so you could tell he swears he's whatever, and he is being roasted left and right by people because I'm sorry, you're not gonna be like, oh, well, maybe you're not from me. Now, I get sometimes that women are like, oh, wait,
Hmm.
but like you just get the vibe from this dude. Like he's obviously he says he's a dating coach, and I'm not gonna give out his name because he does not deserve
Right.
that, right? He does not.
No, no.
But when you're calling yourself like if a man's saying he's an alpha, he's not an alpha. An alpha man does not need to say that.
Right. Yes. I agree 100%.
When a
That's that
man,
swagger. You don't
yes,
go around saying I got swag. No.
yes,
That's not
girl, I
how it
don't go
works.
around saying like I'm from New York because I'm not from New York, but people think I'm from New York when I'm there.
Yep, it's just it comes out. It's not some people have it and some people don't. Like I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
I know. And I went through I went to his profile because I wanted to see like what else. And everything is just, ick. Like he just gives the full on ick factor. And then I think, I'm so glad I don't have to date anymore. Right? Like I'm so,
I'm about to just never date in my life again. Like I'm just I'm like, you know what? If by some miracle some guy just shows up, but otherwise it's just like I gonna focus on things that I can control, things that are okay. I'm like I focus on myself, my
yeah.
business, my nieces and my nephew who are like my kids, my clients, my friends. Like these men out here are reckless.
Girl, God
Reckless.
forbid something like happens, where me and Antonio are no longer together, or he passes or something. Cause no, I don't ever, no. I'm like, then I will be single the rest of my life and I'm okay with that. So actually, so the next part of that goes to I guess over the weekend, Beto O'Rourke. Do you know who Beto O'Rourke is? He had
No.
like so he is from El Paso, Texas. And he used to be in the House of Representatives. He's run for Senate and he's lost. He's run for president, he's lost. He's run for governor of Texas and he's lost. But he's like, I know it sounds like, oh, he's a loser, but man, it's because he's a Democrat in a very red
Mm-hmm.
state. And it's
Mm.
always like been very small margins, right? Well, anyways, um, he was on Real Time with Bill Maher. I used to watch that a lot, but I don't watch it as much because I think Bill Maher he is absolutely a privileged white man in some of his things. Like as he's gotten older, it definitely shows. But I do appreciate
Mm,
some of the guests that he has on, right? But there was it wouldn't, and I did see it on TikTok. So well, Beto O'Rourke was one of his guests, and they were saying how men are becoming more conservative and women are becoming less conservative generally, right?
mm-hmm.
Because we could say a lot of things in regards to that, and who wants to
Right.
keep up the patriarchy to benefit themselves. But I think we know that.
Mm,
And he was saying that he was talking to his 15-year-old daughter about that, and his 15-year-old daughter said it's because we are getting more power, and I completely agree with that. And I think this kind of lends itself, right? Because like you said, we're in this very odd time where men
mm-hmm.
are just, not all men, but there is like this very big faction of men online and who have podcasts, right? Who
Oh,
basically
yes.
just shit on women or tell women they just have to settle, or tell women like it's basically my way or the highway. I can bed all of these women, but you can only be like, it's just like
Mm-hmm.
this really gross stuff, basically.
Yeah.
Seeing that with the Roe v. Wade reversal, we're seeing that with the IVF. Um, what's happening in IVF, what happened in Alabama, and we're
Right.
seeing that
Right.
with just all of these different things happening in states because states are now able to determine, abortion rights. There's even, Eric, I don't know if you know this, but there are even laws in Texas. I can't say for anywhere else, but I do know in Texas, there are even laws that are trying to ban women from leaving their own city to drive somewhere else into another state to be able to access.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not only in Texas. I can't think right now, but I know that there are more states than Texas
Yeah.
that are
So
banning that.
yeah. And so what we're saying is like, oh, you're saying I'm not gonna date anyone. There's this faction of men because men just don't go, people don't go out. I think that's like not just social media, but the internet has been amazing, but it has been terrible at the same time, especially
It's a
post,
double-edged sword.
yeah, especially post COVID, right? Because people don't go out, they don't meet in organic ways anymore. I mean, even me and Antonio, we
Mm-hmm.
met on Bumble, but we met very quickly in person, and
Mm-hmm.
to start building that rapport and getting to know each other. But there's so, like, dating apps, how many times I've heard guys say, I swipe right to every woman, regardless of
Mm-hmm.
what she looks like. And I just
Oh
wait
my
to
God.
see, or whatever her beliefs are, right? And then I just wait to see who matches me. And if I look at their stuff and I don't like them, then I unmatch. And I'm like,
It's these apps are like they're insane because that is, well, first of all, that's how people are meeting. It's either, I find that all of my friends that are married or like engaged or in like long-term relationships, they have all been from social media matches, and then a handful is like a friend of a friend or like someone in a friend group. But outside of that, like I can't think of a friend that's like, oh, I was out at the museum and I met this guy and like we hit it off and went and had coffee. And I'm like, well, does that only happen in the movies? Like,
yeah, I will
is
tell
that
you,
not a thing? Am I not
it's
on this?
not
Like,
happening anymore.
it's
It just doesn't
it's
happen
New
anymore.
York. Like, you're supposed to
There's
go
so many
outside and meet
people.
tons of people. There's 8 million people in Manhattan at any given time. Not even New York City, just Manhattan during the week. About 8 million. Well, I don't know about now, but pre COVID, that was like the stat: 8 million people in Manhattan during the week at any given time. And we
I mean,
need
even if,
apps to meet people. Like, what is going on?
girl, you're not even safe if you're a celebrity, because even look at like, well, J Lo, right? Prior, Jennifer Lopez, but prior to getting married to Ben Affleck, she was with Alex Rodriguez, who supposedly cheated on her.
Right.
Shakira, oh my gosh, like who her
Mm-hmm.
husband with Clara Chia, like
Oh God,
I'm
he's the
sorry.
worst.
I'm sorry. He downgraded so hard. Look, and I say that not just looks wise, but any woman who's willing to like be that to that type of like
Right.
downgrade. That's just a downgrade as a person, right? And I had posted something on my Instagram that I saw, and she's like, nobody can tell me how I'm supposed to grieve and how I'm supposed to handle this.
Right.
And I am so happy to see her take her reina back, right? To be the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is because it felt like she just kind of not disappeared, but she definitely took a step back to be a wife and to be a mother and to focus on
Yeah.
that. And I cannot, and now with this new music coming out, girl, I cannot wait to go on tour. I will freaking like sell my feet pictures online so I can afford that concert ticket.
I feel like also like just like with Shakira specifically, it hits different because she's in our age like group, and I've been following her since high school, and I remember that they would call her like the Latina Alanis Morissette, which now of course I roll my eyes at, but at the time I was just like, yes. I love Alanis Morissette, and Shakira is definitely that for me. Like I felt represented. So like and I was with her in her journey and her transitions and all the things. So it like resonates that she said that. And it's like, yes, like we're gonna grieve how we want. Like you can't tell me how to express myself. I don't know. Men are just and I feel that because women are stepping into their power, men kind of don't know where they fit in. So it's like a child when they are just kind of out of sorts and act out. I feel like this is where men in general are. Wait, I can't hear you. Or did I lose?
Oh, I accidentally muted
Oh.
myself. I was sneezing when I was coughing. Okay, so what I was saying is like because dating apps have opened up so much for us, right? Like somebody who lives 30 miles away, you may have never met prior to now having these dating apps or whatever. But the fact is
Right.
it also gives us like almost unlimited options at our fingertips. But if you go into it going, well, there must be something better, I promise you, if there was something better, like that person is probably no longer on the dating app. Right.
Yeah.
I get it when you first get on. I get it. Like, even with me and Antonio, right? He was not like we matched. We literally one day we're talking and he's like, I'm off tomorrow. Let's go out to dinner. Like, he was very straightforward. Like,
I love that.
and I think that was one of the things that really attracted me to him is because I was not like he wasn't I didn't feel like I was being played. And like, oh,
Mm.
how many women I can date. Like literally at the end of our first date, he had already scheduled our second date. Right? At the end of our second date, he was like, I think there's a couple of things going on next weekend. Like, do you have a preference? I'm like, no. So by
Hmm.
a day or two, he's like, hey, this is what is going on. Do you want to do this? Like, he was very proactive. He was very like he really wanted to get to know me. And to be
Right.
perfectly honest, it was kind of reverse. Like, I was still dating somebody else when I met him, but I also knew that that thing was probably not going to last. And I wasn't sure what I thought about him. So dating is just dating. It's okay to date multiple people. But
Right.
but also if you realize that this is what you want or this is what you don't want, you need to be very upfront about it because I think that's the problem, is this talking stage, right? Oh, we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, if I hear somebody else say we're talking, that's my age, I'm like, you're in your fucking 40s. You're not talking. You're either dating or you're in a relationship. Like,
Yep.
no, quote unquote talking. As soon as you've gone on your first date, you are now dating. And if that doesn't last, that's okay. But, you know, I'm gonna get off my high horse because this is the last episode. This is the last like chisme centered episode that I am a single woman.
Oh, I'm so excited for that for you.
uh, you know what? I I'm not even gonna lie. I never, like, I grew up and I never like imagined my wedding. I imagined my life, right? Like I never imagined like,
Okay.
oh, I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna have this or whatever, whatever. I imagined what my life would be. And then I also never thought, like, I always assumed kids would be part of my future, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not the case. And I'm okay with that. That's just not how it worked out. But I never also felt like,
Right.
I never felt like, oh, I have to be a mom. I have to be a mom. I never felt that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very fortunate. I'm Thea J to not only my sister's kids, but to a lot of my friends' kids. I'm Thea J, and I love that. Like I can
Right.
spend money on them. And like even when we finally met in person, if I had kids, I wouldn't have been able to take my nephew to New York.
Right. Right.
Um, so we, this year is the year of it's never too late.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yes. Daily,
right?
I'm telling myself that.
Good. I'm glad because I think that is truly what me and you had talked about even last year. Like this is truly the year of
Yes.
it's never too late. For me, it's never too late to find love. Look, I'm getting married for the very first time at 46 years old. It and I'm not even saying you have to get married. I'm not even saying, but it's never too late to find love, whether that's love with a person, love for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, love
Mm.
for like a hobby, love for your friends. Like, love encompasses so
Yeah.
many things. It's never too late. It's never too late to find your passion. It's never too late to walk away from things that don't serve you. It is
That
never
one.
too late. And like it, I have this, I don't know, I know you've seen it because I've been around you, but I have this sticker that reminds me like there's I have two stickers on my computer on the inside, right? One says "Estoy muy busy
Mm-hmm.
building my dreams," right? And the other
Yep.
and the other one says "You're a fucking icon."
I love it. I love it.
And
It's just
I
like it's never too late to change your mindset. Like
know it's
even if
never
you're like an introvert or even if you're like just insecure, like you can wake up and be like, you know what? Yeah.
today's the day. Today's the
Aquí
day.
se acabó. Today's the day.
And it doesn't even have to be like nothing. Every journey starts with a single step, right? I know that's probably on
Yeah.
so many posters or whatever, but it's so true. Like if you want to change something, it's not going to change overnight, and that's okay. Right? If you
Mm-hmm.
want to change your health, well, you can't have one salad and be like, yeah, this is
I
like,
did it.
right? It's all of those things take time. It's okay. Well, how am I going to plan for the rest of the day? And it's not even about cutting things out. It's about like, okay, how can I change my mindset? Do I need to have, like, for me, and I can only speak for me, right? Do I need to have the hamburger or fries? No, let me just have the hamburger. I don't necessarily need fries. Or maybe I just get a small fry. I don't need to get a large fry,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, all of those, you don't need to deprive yourself of love. You don't need to deprive yourself of food. You don't need to deprive yourself of, it's just figuring out what works best for you. Because I think
Yeah.
we always look to other people to tell us what's best. You don't know my life. You don't know what works for me. I admire these people that do these amazing meal preps on Sunday. That just does not work for me and Antonio. It does, like,
Yeah.
it doesn't. I would love for it to be. And I think for certain things it can be. For me, if it was just me, it would work. But for me and Antonio, for us together, that doesn't work. So how do I adjust? And so
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate that he is like, whatever you do, okay, I'll go with that because you're gonna do what's best for you, and I want what's best for you as well. And that what's best for you is best for me. That's kind of what he said. Uh,
I mean, that's part of being in a relationship too. Like, there's no point in being in a relationship with someone you don't trust.
yeah.
You have to trust that that person has your interest, your best interest in mind as well.
Oh, so true. I mean, I'm very fortunate, and he's been so supportive in all of this because obviously I've gone through a lot of health things recently, and trying to get all of the stuff in regards to sponsorships and everything for the podcast, and we've been working really really hard on those things. It's not always
Yep.
easy. So mi gente, I will say, like, doing this is the best job I've ever had in my entire life. It's also the hardest job I've ever had in my entire life. It's not easy when I'm looking at my bank account. It's not easy, right? It's not easy when I'm,
Yep.
why am I not featured in this? Like, I'm so happy for the people who are, but I'm like, when's it my turn? Like, I want to get this. And we work really, really hard on all of these things. And if I didn't have his support in regards to that, it would make it that much harder. And if I didn't
Right.
have your support and your talents, it would make it that much harder.
Oh, I love our team. I love this.
Me too. Girl, see, look at that. We went through all the I mean, there's still so much chisme that we could go through, right? But
Yep.
we really got into all of the things, and I'm so glad. Like, I might have to be like, Ellie, we're gonna switch between you and Erika.
We're gonna alternate.
We're gonna alternate with the ease. Ellie and
Oh my
Erika.
gosh, yes. Oh my god. And
No,
we're both Dominican.
yes, girl. I'm telling you. I don't know. There's something about my Dominican amigas that I'm
It's
so drawn to.
I mean, it's like, how can you not love us?
I don't know because I do. So I don't know. And now, just in a few more weeks, you'll be here in San Diego. San Diego for the
I'm so
first time.
excited.
Wait, have you been to San Diego before?
No, I've never been to San Diego. Girl, I've already started packing. I am so ready to get on a plane and get out of here for a few days.
I'm excited. We're gonna have the bridal shower the Saturday before the wedding.
Yes.
I'm super excited. I cannot wait to see you guys and celebrate with you guys. And
This is gonna be amazing.
I'm so excited. It's like I said, this is not something that I don't know if I ever truly imagined for myself. I think I thought at some point maybe I would have a partner in life, but I don't know if I ever thought like marriage would actually, like I said, it wasn't like the goal. I just didn't want to be somebody's permanent girlfriend, right? I didn't want to be 60 years old and be like, this is my girlfriend. I've been with for 15, 20 years. And I'm like,
Oh goodness.
but yes. And then hope, honestly, like let's just shout it out. We are still looking for sponsors. The plan is to go on tour again with the Wine and Chisme.
Yes,
We can't do
100%.
Yeah, we can't do that without sponsors. So if you are a small business, we're going to be in Chicago, Phoenix, San Diego. If you're a small business who wants to be part of it, we have packages for small businesses. If you're a large business that wants to be part of it, we have multiple different packages to sponsor the Wine and Chisme podcast. We want to continue to go to all of these amazing places and feature
Yep.
all of these amazing speakers as part of the podcast tour. But we can't do that without support. I'm going to be launching a WeFunder very soon as well. So once I do that, I'll be sharing the details. So if you guys want to be able to sponsor, even if it's like $5, $10, $15 to be able to continue the tour, because the tour is not just the podcast, right, Erika?
Right.
It's
I mean, it's what makes it so special is the local vendors that we get to work with and amplify, and the wine. The wine.
all Latine-owned wine brands. And that's the
Yep.
super important part is like when we were in LA, like we bring in cheese and charcuterie, and that's from a local vendor. It was from a Native American woman who brought the cheese and charcuterie for the LA event. And then we had Latine-owned wine brands, and then we had a Latina performer in Heidi Rojas, and we had a Latina spiritual, like doing a whole little spiritual thing in my friend
Mm-hmm.
Yvonne. Then in Dallas, we again did a sound healing, and we did it at the location in LA is a Latino owned art gallery. The location in
Yes.
Dallas was a Latina owned yoga studio. When we did a sound bath led by a Latina, we talked about health, and that was all led by Latinas. In New York, we had a performance by Jazzy Amra, who, first of all,
Yes.
did a performance with Wyclef Jean on Jimmy Fallon
Yes.
Night Show with Jimmy Fallon, right? She was freaking out, and she just
Yep.
had a
Yep.
baby, right? So congratulations, Jazzy, on that. Then we had, featuring a Latina-owned designer and a Latina who is in charge of all of the social media for the Guggenheim. And then we had the pop-ups, and then we featured Agua Bonita, Latina-owned,
Mm-hmm.
Agua Fresca company. So we are very, like, we put our money where our mouth is. And then our cheese and
Yep.
charcuterie, Latina owned for Dallas and for New York.
Yep.
So it's,
Yes.
we very much put, even, you know what? I don't know if I told you, and I'm going to probably put something on later. Even for the wedding,
Uh-huh.
my dress is from a woman designer, but the bridal shop is a Latina owned bridal shop.
Okay.
My earrings, not only for, because I'm going to wear the Cindy Castro probably for the bridal shower,
Right.
which is Latina owned designer with some Cadena Collective, Latina owned company as well. Some earrings from Cadena Collective.
Oh, you had their outfit for Dallas?
Oh
No,
yeah, and
for
yeah,
LA. For
no, for
LA.
Dallas, for Dallas. No, it's for Dallas.
Was it? Yes.
They did a pop-up shop in Dallas with us. And then we are doing, tacos and rice and beans, a Latino owned company for our
Mm-hmm.
food. We're doing, instead of cake, we're doing churros and ice cream. And again, another
Love
Latino company. I know, girl, we're not cake people. So we're doing churros and ice cream, right? My DJ is Latino, right? Like my photographer, my photographer is a Black man. Like we, through all of these things, the earrings that I got to go with my wedding dress, a Latina owned jewelry designer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, we are putting our money where our mouth is. So if you want to support, please support, because we want to continue to support people from our community as well.
Yes. Yes.
Erika,
We
is there
want to
anything
continue to push the inclusivity conversation, the
Absolutely.
authenticity conversation.
That's right, girl. Is there
It
anything else
all
you want
ties
to
in.
add? Because we've just been going. I mean, like, oh, such a good conversation. It's such a good, so good, so good. I love it. Anything
Yeah,
else?
I think we might be over at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean, but the thing is we could continue to go. And first of all, I also haven't eaten, and then I had my wine, so that I'm like feeling pretty good right now too.
Okay, all right. You're feeling that brunch wine situation minus the
Yes,
food.
yes, I am. Well, okay, we're gonna have to. So don't worry, mi gente. Erika will be back. She will be back
Yes.
for some more chisme again.
Yes, yes. And next time I have to have my wine.
You better, girl. Until next time, mi gente. Hola, mi gente. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Wine and Chisme podcast. If you would like to hear more wine and more chisme, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Saludos.